this morning, we find ourselves coming to the end of the Exodus story. The people have been wandering through the wilderness and overcoming all kinds of obstacles now for 40 years, and they have come to the very edge of the promised land. They are about to enter in and claim that wonderful prize that God has promised to them. Well, except for one thing. You've already seen how these people are discouraged at every step of the way by any little obstacle, and now that they have come to the end of their journey, they have one tiny obstacle left. That is the Jordan River. And just like they have done so many times before, as soon as there is some little difficulty, they turn to their leader, who is Joshua by this time, and they say, "Joshua, it's all over. We've been walking for 40 years, and now we can see the promised land, but we can't get there because the river is in our way." Now, if you were ever looking for people who were trying to find some excuse to fail, here they were. The Jordan River really isn't a very big river, and even though it's in the heavy flood season, it wouldn't have been that big a deal to cross over even without God's help. But they did not want to succeed. There is something in the mentality of human beings that makes us afraid of success and afraid of claiming the victory that God promises. We cannot go across, Joshua. We might as well give up and die here in the desert. And poor Joshua goes to God and says, "What am I going to do with these people? We're this close." And they will not claim the promise. So God says to Joshua, "Well, now it's time to bring out the big stuff. Go and get the Levites, the priests who are carrying the Ark of the Covenant. And we need to use the Ark to remind these people that I am with them, and when I am with my people, they can do anything." Let me describe the Ark of the Covenant to you, for those one or two who haven't seen Indiana Jones chasing after it. It was simply a wooden box made of acacia wood. It would have been about 2.5 feet square and a little less than 4 feet long. It wasn't very big, but it was so precious. It was covered in pure gold, and since it was such a powerful thing, no one could touch it. There were loops on the side of it, and through the loops the people would put long poles, and then they would lift it up by these poles. And inside the Ark of the Covenant were 3 things. Firstly, the stone tablets on which were written the 10 Commandments. Secondly, there was a golden encased jar with a piece of manna in it. And thirdly, Aaron's staff, the staff with which Moses had touched the Nile and the Red Sea and led the people outwards. So Joshua said to the Levites, "Go and get the Ark of the Covenant and tell the Levites to carry it and make sure they stay 1 kilometer ahead of the people." That was because they so revered the Ark, they didn't want to get too close to it. And when they come to the Jordan River, tell them to start walking through it. Now, of course, you can imagine the Levites saying, "Why is Joshua doing this to us? If we walk out into that river, we're probably going to get swept away and drown." But God had told Joshua, when the priests begin to walk into the river with the Ark, the waters of the river will stop up in that place and not flow any further. When that happens, the priests must walk to the middle of the river and then let the people walk past them. So in many ways, it's a replaying of the crossing of the Red Sea, and a replay of so many times when God's people have come to that point where they say, we can't go on. And God says, I am with you. Go ahead. I will give you the victory that you think is absolutely impossible. Now, the history of the Ark of the Covenant is fascinating. It would help the people cross the Jordan River. Shortly thereafter, they would march the Ark of the Covenant all around the great city of Jericho. You remember then when they blew the trumpets and God caused the city of Jericho to fall at the sound of the shout of the people. They would take it into battle with them. The Philistines would eventually take the ark away from the Israelites, but that turned out to be a really bad thing for the Philistines. Firstly, when they took it away in Shiloh, and the messengers went to tell the priest Eli, when he heard the news that the ark was gone, he dropped dead. And on that same day, Eli's grandchild was born, and they called this new grandchild Ichabod. Ichabod means the glory has left us.